The system of Varnashrama prescribes the person to undergo the process of atonement for his sinful activities. And without doing so, one surely will be transferred to the hellish planets to undergo miserable lives. Mhm. And what does Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur say about this? Text 43. O Janardana, we have heard that those men whose family rules are destroyed live in hell permanently. Mhm. Let's move on. Text 44. Aho bata mahatpa pam kartum vyavasita vayam yatra ja sukhalobhena hantum svajanam udyataha. Translation. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts. Driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness, we are intent on killing our own kinsmen. Purport. Driven by selfish motives, one may be inclined to such sinful acts as the killing of one's own brother, father, or mother. There are many such instances in the history of the world. But Arjuna, being a saintly devotee of the Lord, is always conscious of moral principles and therefore takes care to avoid such activities. Yes, Arjuna is very intelligent person, not just intelligent, he is a devotee of the Lord. And thus the greed does not have effect upon him. So he's telling, alas, how strange that we are preparing to commit such great sinful act, like killing the grandfather, teacher, sons, grandsons, friends, cousins, well wishers, and many others. Driven, he says, driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness. He speaks of himself as a person who was driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness. But in reality, it was not this way. He was not driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness. He was driven by the desire to perform his religious duty. But anyway, he speaks of himself as if he was a common person. Srila Prabhupada says, driven by selfish motives, one may be inclined in such sinful activities as following. Yes, driven by selfish motives. We know that throughout human history, people driven by the selfish motives were doing horrible things, such as killing their brothers, fathers, and mothers. And Arjuna, being a saintly person, saintly devotee of the Lord, was conscious of the moral principles, and he did not want to do anything sinful, such as killing his own brothers and well-wishers and teacher and grandfather. He did not want to do this at all. Text 44. Mhm. Arjuna, being a saintly and conscious of moral principle, he did not want to kill relatives based on selfish motives. Mhm. We are intent on committing great sin, since we are ready to kill our own people for gain of happiness of the kingdom. Again, Arjuna speaks of himself as a common man. He says that he just wants to gain happiness, and in this way he is intent to commit a great sin. Next, 45. Yadi mam apratikaram ashastram shastrapanayaha dhartarashtraranehanyus tanme kshema taram bhavet. Translation: better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me, unarmed and unresisting, on the battlefield. Purport: it is the custom, according to Kshatriya fighting principles, that an unarmed and unwilling foe should not be attacked. Arjuna, however, decided that even if attacked by the enemy in such an awkward position, he would not fight. He did not consider how much the other party was bent upon fighting. All these symptoms are due to soft-heartedness, resulting from his being a great devotee of the Lord. Yes, Arjuna now considers that it is better to be killed by the opposite party, namely the sons of Dhritarashtra, but not fight them. He says it is better for him to be killed, but not fight. He will not even resist. Such was his attachment to his family. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that this is a Kshatriya tradition to stop fight if the opponent is unarmed or if he is unwilling to continue a fight. So the Kshatriya code forbids killing unarmed and unwilling foe. Arjuna, however, decided that even if he that decided that even if attacked by the enemy, he would not resist. These are the symptoms of a great devotee of the Lord. Arjuna is ready to be killed unarmed, but not retaliate. The custom, according to Kshatriya fighting principle, is that unarmed and unwilling foe should not be attacked. These symptoms are due to soft-heartedness resulting from being a great devotee. Mm. Mm. It would be better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me without weapons and without opposition. Mhm. And the last text, 46. Sanjay Uvacha Evam Uktvarjunam Sankhe Radhopastha Upavishat Visrija Sa Sharam Chapam Shoka Samvigna Manasaha. Translation. Sanjaya said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. While observing the situation of his enemy, Arjuna stood up on the chariot, but he was so afflicted with lamentation that he sat down again, setting aside his bow and arrows. Such a kind and soft-hearted person in the devotional service of the Lord is fit to receive self-knowledge. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to the first chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad-gita in the matter of observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So, Sanjaya said that Arjuna, having spoken thus, he cast aside his bow, Gandiva, his arrows, and again he sat down in his chariot, and his mind was overwhelmed with grief. Once stood up for the battle, now he sat down with his mind overwhelmed with grief. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that Arjuna stood up in his chariot, but now, being afflicted with lamentation, he sat down again, setting aside his bow and arrows. And he praises Arjuna for his soft-heartedness in devotional service of the Lord. And Srila Prabhupada says that such a kind and soft-hearted person in the devotional service of the Lord is fit enough to receive self-knowledge. Here we see Arjuna broke his vow of not keeping the bow once lifted. Yeah, he once had a vow that Arjuna had a vow that once he took a bow for a fight, he would not let it go until the fight is over, until he is victorious. And now he broke his vow. Such was the power of his attachment and his lamentation and his grief. The translation of the text 46 and purport by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Speaking in this manner, Arjuna, giving up his bow and arrows, mind disturbed with lamentation, sat down on his chariot amidst the war. Purport. Sitting on his chariot amidst the battle, Arjuna gave up his weapons. Thus, the commentaries on the first chapter of the Gita, Sarartha Varshani, has been completed for giving joy to the hearts of devotees, following after the tradition of our acharyas. Yes, Arjuna gave up his weapons amidst the war. All right, so we have finished the first chapter of Srimad Bhagavad-gita. We tried to discuss a little bit. We tried to understand the inner feelings of Arjuna and his reasoning, his arguments. He was there before the battle started and he asked his charioteer, Lord Krishna, to draw his chariot amidst the battlefield. And when he saw his relatives, his mind was overwhelmed by doubt and then by grief. Yes, when our mind is full of doubts, the grief and lamentations follow. That's why we need a proper guidance. When the aim is set, when the steps for achieving the aim is established, we just need to take our steps and follow. This makes us, so to say, waterproof or grief-proofed. We cannot have any grief if we follow what is said by acharyas or by Krishna himself. I will read the verses from 1 to 46. So we will remember what was here in the first chapter. Chapter 1, observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? Sanjaya said, O king, after looking over the army arranged in military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and spoke the following words. O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupada. Here in this army are many heroic bowmen, equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna. Great fighters like Yuyudhana, Virata, and Drupada. There are also great heroic, powerful fighters like Drishtaketu, Chikitana, Kashiraja, Purujit, Kuntibhoja, and Shaibya. There are the mighty Yudhamanyu, the very powerful Uttamauja, the son of Subhadra, and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. But, for your information, O best of the Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force. There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashvathama, Vikarna, and the son of Samadatta called Bhurishrava, who are always victorious in battle. There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons, and all are experienced in military science. Our strength is immeasurable, and we are perfectly protected by Grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited. All of you must now give full support to Grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army. Then Bhishma, the great valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his corn shell very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy. After that, the corn shells, drums, bugles, trumpets, and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was tumultuous. On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on a great chariot drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental corn shells. Lord Krishna blew his corn shell, called Panchajanya. Arjuna blew his, the Devadatta, and Bhima, the voracious eater and performer of Herculean tasks, blew his terrific corn shell, called Poundra. King Yudhishthira, the son of Kunti, blew his corn shell, the Ananta Vijaya. And Nakula and Sahadeva, blew the Sughosha and Manipushpaka. That great archer, the king of Kashi, the great fighter Shikhandi, Drishtadyumna, Virata, the unconquerable Satyaki, Drupada, the sons of Draupadi, and others, O king, such as the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective corn shells. The blowing of these different corn shells became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. At that time, Arjuna, the son of Pandu, seated in the chariot bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra drawn in military array, Arjuna then spoke to Lord Krishna these words. Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies, so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. Sanjaya said, O descendant of Bharata, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties. In the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all the other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, Just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here. There Arjuna could see, within the midst of the armies of both parties, his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his fathers-in-law and well-wishers. When the son of Kunti, Arjuna, saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus. Arjuna said, My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. My whole body is trembling, my hair is standing on end, my bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning. I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself, and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune, O Krishna, killer of the Kashi demon. I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsman in this battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. O Govinda, of what avail to us are a kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield? O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers in law, grandsons, brothers in law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune? And how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? O Janardana, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, who can see the crime in destroying a family, engage in these acts of sin? With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. When irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. An increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life for both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performances for offering them food and water are entirely stopped. By the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I have heard by disciplic succession that those whose family traditions are destroyed dwell always in hell. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts. Driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness, we are intent on killing our own kinsmen. Better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me, unarmed and unresisting, on the battlefield. Sanjaya said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. So, here we have finished chapter 1, observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. We had some reading and discussing. We tried to share some ideas about the situation in which Arjuna found himself. this is a very important chapter because it sets the scene, the stage for the ongoing dialogue between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotee on the religious topics. Thank you very much for joining me in this reading. It gave me a lot of pleasure to read it. If you have any commentaries, any questions, anything to add, or something else, maybe you disagree with some of my ideas or you agree with them, please write this down in the commentary section. And this is all for today. So next time we start with chapter number 2. Again, thanks for watching and see you.